Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul. I'm back at the lovely Svizio on the parade at Norwood. I'm joined today by Sonia. Is that right?
Yeah, Sonia.
Yes. I just had a mind blank for a second. I'm joined today by Sonia from Dreadlock Society.
Yes.
How are you going, Sonia?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. And before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're here about today, I have to ask you, what are you drinking today?
I'm having a latte.
Latte.
Ooh.
And I've got, of course, for those that watch the show will know this is an oat mocha.
Okay.
It's my go-to every time. So yeah. Occasionally I've had a single shot one because I'd had so many coffees during the day.
You're like buzzing.
Yeah. Not because I don't drink coffee that much, to be honest. But when I do the show, if I'm filming a couple episodes in a day, I end up having like way more
Too
than
many.
I should. Yeah. In fact, I think it was actually here that I had the third interview for the day, and they're like, "Oh, do you want us to just make a single shot one?" I'm like, yeah. So yeah. So tell me a bit about Dreadlock Society. Sort of how did it come about? What do you guys do? Give me a broad overview.
Okay, so Dreadlock Society came about me thinking that I could make some amazing products through using Australian botanics. Australia has some of the best ingredients. Compounding them is a little bit difficult, but we were able to hit the market basically using things like, your clays and your essential oils and stuff like that, but it was fundamentally getting together with a herbalist, someone that could really know how to compound.
Okay.
And use things like, detoxing the scalp. Dreadlocks, there's a big component to how to look after them.
Yeah.
And it's, hitting those targets with the certain ingredients that we have.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So tell me just really kind of in really simple for someone like me to understand, because I'm not really familiar with what compounding is. I kind of can guess by the word, but can you sort of explain a bit about
so
that?
Compounding is using each ingredient's benefits.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're compounding things like, God, you're putting me on the spot now, but it's having ingredients that are working well together.
Okay.
Obviously, with every single person has different ways of they shed their skin. They shed skin and then shedding hair and stuff like that, and how they produce oils and all that stuff. But what we're using are basically ingredients that are not going to be changing pH levels, because that's when you start getting damage and dry skin and all that stuff. We're using science. I don't want to say too much that we're science-based, but it's the knowledge of how herbs and obviously plants and all that stuff can work well to look after dreadlocks.
Science sort of fundamentally at its core is kind of understanding the universe, though, isn't it? Like, in a way, like it's not necessarily always test tubes and Bunsen burners and creating vaccines and whatnot.
No, of course not.
So I don't think it's a bad thing to mention that you use science. It basically kind of makes sense.
Well, you're learning about each plant in its science way, I guess. You need to know how, there's been knowledge about, you can heal your diseases through science of plants.
I believe that, I think there is probably a plant or thing growing in this country probably that can heal almost really anything if we just understood it. Obviously there's a lot more we don't know about, so we can't heal everything, but I think if we, in time, if we study it like, what you guys do with your products, we'd probably find there's probably a way to heal or minimise the damage that things do to our bodies and hair and skin and
absolutely.
Like I remember seeing this thing because I work at a fruit shop as my day job, and I remember seeing this thing where they'd cut all these fruits and vegetables in halves, and the shape inside them apparently is the organ of the body that they are best for.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head, but like you get this one that when you cut it in half, it looks like a heart inside it and things like that.
That's
so
good for your heart.
Good for your heart,
Wow.
Yeah, I should probably research that a bit more. I can't just go by a meme on Facebook as my source of information.
Then again, we could always go, Google knows everything.
Well, true. Although I got told off by my son's mum the other day because he had these unexplained bruises on the top of his knees in a really weird position, and he couldn't for the life of him think about how they came about. So I Googled it, and she's like, "Don't Google don't use Dr. Google. Like, but I didn't know anything. So
I know, but it's just, it's hard. I mean, people tend to do that first, and then they believe it, or they go to the doctor.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad point of reference to start with, and then you use a bit of intelligence of your own to kind of decipher how accurate it might be, and also not just to look at one source, but that goes without saying for anything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, what sort of what's some of the kind of more, I guess, because you mentioned you use like Australian native things in products, is that right? So, what would be one of the more maybe out there kind of things that people wouldn't associate maybe with what you're producing? Like, is there something that you go, oh yeah, we use, I don't know, I keep thinking saltbush for some reason, I don't know why, but in my head I'm thinking, because it's a native plant in Australia, and I'm thinking like something like, oh, we use saltbush in this product, and people go, wow, I would never expected that. Do you have something like that in your repertoire?
Yeah, well, we would maybe hemp.
Okay.
Hemp seed oil. We do use the stock standards, things like lavender, and there's a whole heap. Again, I'm put on the spot, far out.
That's
but
all right.
Your hemp and your stuff for detoxing is Himalayan salt.
Oh, okay.
People probably will think, why Himalayan salt.
Cooking, but
yeah, a lot of people do. We all went crazy from the table salt to the pink salt.
Yeah.
But we use Himalayan salt, which is antifungal. It's all those kind of things.
Yep.
To
That's
support
really cool.
detoxing your dreads.
Okay. And so, do you have a background in the scientist sort of side of these plants and what they can do, and not plants, but elements that you combine? You
I don't have.
You mentioned sort of like the science of how they come to be. I'm just wondering, is that something that you're familiar with yourself, or do you have someone that you work with?
I have someone else. So so basically our manufacturer has all that knowledge, and I've entrusted her to teach me.
Yep.
And all our staff as well. So
excellent.
But along the way I've learnt as well.
Yeah.
So but it's then putting what I've learnt to getting assistance with our manufacturer to compound and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. So, I know that there used to be a kind of a common misconception with just things in life where like people thought, if it was natural, that it was always like good for you. Does that apply to you guys? Like, are there some things that maybe are naturally occurring that you can use in your product, but maybe they're not real great?
So no, we do stick to basically not having any paraffins, no sulfates and stuff like that.
Yep.
All our ingredients are organic.
Mm-hmm.
We're not certified organic yet, but we do source all stuff that is organic. And basically filling in that you can still have sulfates, but that you can have natural sulfates. So you can either have chemical based or natural sulfates. I think the misconception is, it's got a sulfate. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad for you, as long as you're leading to that natural component. So,
Okay, that's really cool. And how long have you been running for? It sounds like you've been going for a little while now.
We've been going since, once the idea came into my head, and I remember sitting on the couch with my husband and I said, right, I can make a better product. My husband was like, oh God, here we go. That would have been 2019. 2019.
Oh, 19, okay.
And then
still a decent amount of time. I mean, they say businesses sort of like often if they're gonna fail, they're usually in the first 5 years. So you're getting pretty close to that kind of point where you're like on your way.
Oh, we're not failing. We're just going to keep going.
Oh no, I'm not suggesting at all that. Definitely not suggesting that at all. But what I mean is like, if a business is going to fail, usually it's in that first 5 years, and you're pretty damn close to kind of getting out of that, I guess, red zone. And it sounds like you're doing great things. I think you mentioned to me off camera that you're supplying worldwide with your product. We are
supplying worldwide. Yes.
So how did that come about? Like, how did you? Is it like
building relationships? Building relationships.
Have you been over to any of these places, or just through social media? Or
not yet. So social media has been, checking out who is big in certain countries and stuff like that. and starting that relationship and that conversation with them. It has to be authentic, right? Definitely. If I relate to someone and I see far out, their message resonates with ours, then of course I'm going to comment on their posts and stuff. And then slowly, I'm not about, get in and, let them sell them the product.
Yeah.
Well, would it be something that you'd be interested? We send out free sample kits to a lot of they're called locticians or dread artists, who would in turn be like a hairdressing salon hairdresser.
Yeah.
And let them try the product. We get feedback. 9 times out of 10, we're getting people wanting to come and supply our stuff.
That's good odds.
So, yeah. And it's all relationship, but it doesn't stop just once you've made that sale.
No, of course not.
It's continuous. I'm late night still liking people's, replying to emails,
Yeah. I think that's a good way to be, and I think that's one of the things I love about small businesses as opposed to your multinational corporations is that it's a real person always making those connections and building those connections and maintaining those connections, and I think that's so important in everything in life, like not just business but just in general. You can't just go, okay, cool, I like you and let's date, and then that's the end of it. You don't talk to them anymore. You've got to kind of always be kind of communicating.
You've got to keep nurturing that relationship. Yeah. And for me, I get probably more satisfaction getting to know the person or their team. Yeah. And I've had that kind of tool under my belt probably from my earlier days when I was in real estate. Making sure that I had to. Wasn't really making sure, but I could remember. Sometimes people were, probably getting married, and then I'd send them out a card, and it's that going over and above, but it being realistically not corny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Try to remember little things that you can keep that contact of relationship.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've been learning. That's been a real learning curve for me too, as well, just in the last sort of 12 months, because I was probably a little bit, didn't kind of keep those the little things. It was always like there was a big thing here or there, and I would communicate about that and stay in touch. But then, like when it came to little things, like you were saying to yourself, sending a card out, I would kind of drop the ball a bit. So I've been learning a lot about that myself. So it's really great to see that you're embracing that methodology and. I think that's probably why you're succeeding, is because you're not just, like you said before, you're not just trying to sell a product and walk away. You're sticking around and kind of, getting to know the people on a more personal level as well, which is really good to see.
A lot of the people that I work with have the same story as I do. Oh, wow. They're either a parent, they're going through the parenting things, they've got their business, and they're all struggles. So if I can assist and help them, I'm not saying I'm not going to give them advice about parenting, but you see their photo of their child, hey, one of our locticians just posted a whole heap of her children's photos, and this kid is so adorable. She's all the way in America, but I'm like, oh my God, keep going,
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I don't know. I love that.
Yeah, no.
And I don't want that to end.
Hey?
I don't want that to end. I don't want to get busy and be doing things. I just want to be.
It's all about keeping focus.
Loving people.
That's great. I think that's really lovely. Yeah. I have to ask something really silly.
Go ahead.
I think...
Silly.
These products, could they be used by someone who doesn't have dreads?
Yes.
Because I feel like there's a big market that you,
But we're trying to just keep the dreadlock love going.
Of course.
But it is definitely,
I'm just trying to suggest that if anyone's watching and they want to try some better products for their hair and they don't have dreads or they don't plan to get dreads anytime soon, that they could give it a try.
Yeah.
Because I'd hate for them to think, oh well, I don't have dreads, it doesn't apply to me. You know what I mean? Like it's about making letting other people know that they could get involved.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a pack. You can try. But you probably can't do the detox. Okay. It's a little bit. Yeah, you're not. What are you detoxing? Because with a detox, you're actually cleaning the inside of the dread.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably not the detox.
I
can give it to you.
Thick hair.
Yeah, you got thick hair.
Yeah, it might be something in there.
I mean, my husband doesn't have dreadlocks, but he uses our shampoo bars and conditioning bars. I'll give you a set of those.
Oh, thank you. That'd be lovely. I did not expect that.
And the warrior, or you can be an earth child or an omni or. Whatever.
All of the above. No. I don't know. You put me on the spot, so I don't know what to say. Oh gosh. Well, my coffee's finished, and we have to finish
Okay,
up
let's
now.
go.
No, look, I think it's really great what you're doing, and I really hope it all continues to kind of blossom and flourish, and you just keep doing really great stuff, because we need more people like you in the world, in every facet of our lives. So
thank you.
So thank you so much, for having a chat with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And hope you enjoyed your coffee.
It was bloody great. I didn't have to put sugar in it.
Oh,
which
wow.
is always a good test.
Yes, it is.
Isn't
It
it?
is. Thank you so much, Sonia, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll put some links up to how we can reach you and your products on the description of the video.
Yeah.
So if they want to reach out and get in touch, they can do that. Thank you to Svisio again for putting up with me, because it's the second time I've been here, and they always look after me. They don't come and complain about my camera. So it's funny the amount of people that actually don't mind. Like, I've never actually asked for permission. I just roll up, set my camera up, and off I go, and they seem to like it. So. One last thing, really quick shout out to Grow Clothing from Melbourne. They're my, I guess you could say, clothing sponsor. They make me look fresh with my hoodies and jumpers and shirts, I should say. Hoodies and shirts. Hoodie and jumper, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And thank you again for being here. And
thank you.
catch you later.